Hey guys, I have been getting a lot of questions around this topic for this video. And I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to tell you my thought process and what I've seen and what I've read and what I've heard. And then you're going to decide. We're all going to decide what we're going to do on our own. Okay? So first, let's do our introduction and then we're going to get right into today's really important topic. Hi guys, I'm Queen Osset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit that red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to somebody else who might like it as well. And if you have time, please leave us a positive comment in the comment section. And stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to read and respond to 2 positive comments from previous videos, and one of them might be yours. Also, if you would like to get a reading done, please email me. If you would like to send me a gift from my Amazon wish list, it's underneath this video, along with my email. If you would like to check me out on social media, I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. That's underneath this video. If you'd like to become one of my patrons on Patreon and check out my new series, Magical Minutes, for as little as $5, you can become a patron on Patreon, and you get to see all of the videos that I don't release on YouTube. And let me see, there's also some Ask an Aquarius merchandise and a whole bunch of other fun stuff underneath this video, so check it out when you have time. So today's topic is about the vaccine. Dum dum dum. Everybody's talking about this all over the world, the COVID-19 vaccine. According to what I've heard, there are varying reports, but different countries are claiming that they have a vaccine. Some of them are even testing them on human volunteers. If you Google it, you can even see the names and what they're talking about and everything. So people are saying to me, number one, should they take the COVID-19 vaccination? Now, the first place I'm going to go to is that vaccinations are mandatory in a lot of places. In the United States, I know at least in the state I was in, because different states have different laws, and I don't know if vaccinations are state or federal law. But in the state I was in, I remember one time my daughter was in preschool. She was like 3 years old. And they made me come get her from school because her vaccination shot record was missing 1 shot that she actually did have, but the doctor failed to put it on the little piece of paper. I had to take that piece of paper back to the doctor and get them to fill it out. So vaccinations are mandatory in certain places. And I think you can opt out of them for like religious reasons or different things, but there's still places you can't go, like public school, for example, daycare centers that get public funding, for example. So for a lot of people, it's going to be a matter of what's important. Like if you're questioning, should, myself or my family get this? The first question is going to be, is it mandatory for where they need to go? Because that's the first thing. It probably won't be mandatory at first, but you and I both know they'll probably eventually just add it to the list of vaccines that you are expected to get, like measles, polio, chickenpox. My daughter had I don't remember how many vaccines she got, but I do remember it being a lot because I had to take her to the hospital. Well, she got the first shots when she was born. Then I had to take her back to get some more in different intervals until she was like 14, So some of these are mandatory if you want to be able to go certain places. So that's going to be the first thing. Is it mandatory? Then another thing, people who work in the healthcare profession, nurses, doctors, radiologists, dentists, people like that are going to have to really consider it, because I think in certain cases it's mandatory for them too. Like for example, somebody was telling me years ago that she was getting a job at this medical facility, and she had to get the flu shot. And she really didn't want to get the flu shot. She wasn't feeling it, but she had to if she wanted to get the job. So for certain professions, it might become mandatory. You see? If you work at a school, if you're a teacher or a counselor, it might not be mandatory, but you're in the hub of germs. Any teacher, any teacher out there, or anybody who's worked in a school out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Every time you turn around, another student coughing, germs, sneezing. I remember I had one student, her mom sent her to school sick. And I think her mom sent her to school sick because her mom had to go to work, which, you know, what can I say? And she came to school sick and sent her with plastic bags from the market. So if she had to, you know, if she had to vomit, she could do it in these bags. So I'm like, so you expect her to sit in my classroom throwing up? You done lost your mind. So I sent her to the nurse, and they kept her in the nurse's office until her mom got off work. Because it was like, no, she's not sitting in here throwing up, making everybody else sick. So for some places that you are, it's going to have to be, you know, a serious consideration. The other one that might be mandatory is for travel. And this is when I might have to take it, because they're saying certain countries are already planning to make it mandatory if you want to visit the country. So if you are a traveler like I am, normally when there isn't a pandemic, I travel constantly. I travel like every 90 to 100 days, basically. And if you're a traveler like I am, or you go on vacation once or twice a year to Jamaica or Thailand or whatever the case is, if they make it mandatory for you to visit, like yellow fever, for example, then you're going to have to take it to go visit. When I went to Africa, I was told I could not enter Ghana without getting certain shots. And one of them was yellow fever. A yellow fever, I think it was a yellow fever vaccination, if I'm not mistaken. And it was a piece of yellow paper that they stapled to my passport. And if I didn't have it, I couldn't come in. So if those kind of things happen, then people in those situations are going to have to decide, okay, well, let's say, for example, it's mandatory to get it to enter the United States. Well, maybe I'm gonna have to go somewhere else this year. Maybe you goes to a different country, because every country probably won't make it mandatory. So you probably will have other options, but it might limit where you're able to go. Now, if it's not mandatory, let's say you're a person who's not in the medical field, you're not traveling, you don't have any kids, you know, do you need to take the coronavirus vaccination? All right, so in this case, it's going to have to be on a one-on-one basis. And it's going to be based on the factors that would make COVID deadly or not. So for example, if you're 70 or over, you and your medical professionals are going to have to decide, is this a good idea for you? Because a person who's 70 or over, they can possibly recover from coronavirus. We've already seen it. Donald Trump is 70 something years old and he recovered. It's other people who are in their 70s I've seen in the newspaper who have recovered, but it's very risky. So people 70 and over are going to have to make that decision for themselves. And if they're not going to get it, they're going to have to be very careful not to catch COVID, because they're in that compromised percentage. Also, people who have autoimmunodeficiencies, I heard people with compromised lungs. I've heard people that have other medical conditions have to be concerned too. So they have to talk to their medical professionals and say, hey, is it worth getting this? Do the benefits outweigh the risk? Is the real question. Now, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm somebody who it might be mandatory for my travel purposes. But what if it's not? If it's not mandatory, I'm not getting it, period. I've never taken the flu shot. I did have all of my shots as a child, though. My mother made sure of that. But I never had the flu shot, and I don't take any kind of, I don't take anything, to be honest with you, that I don't have to take. So if it's not mandatory, I ain't doing it. Okay? But if it is, then I'm going to have to do what I got to do. Now, people ask me, what's the big deal with taking the vaccine? Why are people even talking about this? Well, something that you have to understand. There is a group, and you might know about this. There's a group of people called anti-vaxxers. The anti-vaxxers believe that vaccines are more harmful than good. That group of people, they often do not vaccinate their children or themselves if they have a choice. That group of people does not believe, they believe that the actual ingredients in the vaccine are deadly, or they might cause autism or all kind of things like that. Now, I can't confirm this or deny it. That's just what I've heard them say and read them say online. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. But I do know that that information is out there if any of you want to go and research it further. Now, those people don't want to take any vaccine, especially not this one. Now, what about people who aren't anti-vaxxers? Well, those people don't want to take it because it was fast. They created this vaccine in under a year, people. They've been doing HIV, cancer, all kinds of research for years and years and years and years and years. And it takes them a long time to develop. Think about HIV. Those of you who are older, think about how long it took them to get a mixture together that people stopped dying. When I was a girl and HIV first became prevalent, this is when Magic Johnson announced that he was HIV positive. During that time period, HIV was a death sentence. Most of the people that contracted it ended up with full-blown AIDS and died pretty rapidly. As I got older, I noticed that people were living longer and longer. The next thing I know two people right now personally that have HIV. And I've known them, they're both guys. The one guy contracted it when he was 18 years old. He's 40 now, healthy as a horse. He takes his medicine, he's healthy as a horse. The other guy, he contracted it in his 30s. He's in his 40s going into 50s now, and he's still healthy as a horse. That was not heard of when HIV first came to the surface. So look how long that took, and they developed this in under a year. So some people, including myself, are kind of skeptical, and I'm okay with taking it. Like I said, I've had my shots. I had my daughter vaccinated. I'm okay with taking it. I just want them to test it a lot longer. I want other people to take it, and I want to peep it from back deep, as we say, before I actually take it. But that also means that I am going to have to be careful and responsible that I don't catch COVID. So I'm going to have to weigh all of that. And then if I want to go, visiting someplace, I might have to end up taking it anyway. So the thing about it is that, everybody does have to make their own decisions about this. It is a very touchy subject. A lot of people are very angry about it. A lot of people are happy about it. They're glad to get a vaccine. They're thinking that we'll get some semblance of normalcy again, which is pretty much probably going to be what's going to happen, because the numbers will start to come down and things will open back up, and all kind of things will go back to a lot of things will go back. I'm not sure about everything, but a lot of things might go back to the way that they were before and be some resemblance of normalcy. But like I said, it's going to take us a little bit of time, and you're going to have to think about it. You're going to have to make that decision. And this is the last thing I'm going to say. If you're not going to take the vaccine, you're going to have to be careful, because it's going to leave less people for the virus to attach to. So those of us who don't get it, we're going to have to be careful. I do not go out. It's been a year now, and you guys know me. I like to party. I like to go to the bar. I love a good bar. Don't play with me. A good bar with a jukebox, I'm on it. I love a good bar. I love a good restaurant. I love going to the mall and walking around shopping. I even like going to Walmart. But I had to stop doing all those activities as soon as the coronavirus became, rampant. I started going out once a week. I do all of my errands every Friday, and that's it. The rest of the week I stay in. When I go out, I wear a mask, and I'm careful. I'm washing my hands, I'm using hand sanitizer, I'm doing all those things. So for those of you who are not going to get it, you're just going to have to be careful, because if you catch it, then you're going to have to deal with it. And that's just the bottom line. I know people who have had COVID and recovered. My own brother had COVID and recovered, him and his wife. His wife just left a status message saying that they're getting their sense of taste and smell back now. And so a lot of people have, had this and recovered, but a lot of people who have had this and not recovered. So that's my thing to you guys. That's the thought process, is I want you guys to think about it on your own. And if you don't want to take it, don't take it, but watch your back. And if you do take it, you're going to have to see what the result is. It's kind of like, they're going to test, they are testing it, from what I understand, already on volunteers. The other day, I saw different countries have them, and different countries. Russia has one, China has one, the United States has one. So different countries have them, and different countries are getting people to volunteer. So people are starting to take it and to see, does it make them sick, or does it make them worse, or does it not work at all? They're starting to see that now. Okay? So think about that and make your decision when the time comes. You got a little bit of time to think about it, so you don't have to rush, and a lot of people have a lot of anxiety about it. So, make sure that you're making informed and educated decisions. Take a look at the CDC's website, Google it, read about it, make sure that you're informed before you do it or don't. Okay. Now, Gabrielle C., hey Gabrielle, left us a message. Gabrielle is the name of my guardian angel. I met her when I was going through priestess training. Everybody has a guardian angel. We have lots of angels and ancestors and beings that are around. But in our tradition, we believe that we all get one special guardian, other than all the other heavenly hosts that help us. And mine, her name is Gabrielle. So Gabrielle said, girl, yes, my man is an Aquarius, 2/9, so February the 9th. And I am January 27th. Okay. I don't like to argue or fight, or don't like to talk about my feelings. I will go silent, and he hates that. He likes to talk about our feelings, and he is a wonderful man, and for that I'm trying to learn how to open up to him and talk to him instead of distancing myself. Something, it's probably not easy for you, especially if you, as an Aquarius, it's probably not easy for you, but if he's a good person, it will really be beneficial for you to try. It really would. Take your time with it, and the more that you trust him and the more that you see, his positive energy, I definitely would open up. It did help me tremendously to start to be okay with my emotions, to express them, to talk about them. It definitely helped me. It helped me tremendously. So it can only be a good thing. Maple 929. What's up, Maple? Maple said, Queen, I have a question. I know you've mentioned this several times in your videos that Aquarians need space. Yes. How does an Aquarius feel if you tell an Aquarian directly that you need some time to yourself? See, as an Aquarius, if somebody I'm seeing tells me they need time to themselves, I'm gonna think it's weird. I'm probably gonna honor it because I'm gonna think it's important to be considerate of their feelings, but I'm really gonna think it's weird, and I'm also gonna be wondering. I'm gonna tell you how the Aquarian mind works. In the back of my mind, I'm gonna be wondering, is this a manipulation? And I'll tell you why. Because if I need space and I'm taking space here and there, and then I come back and you're like, oh, I need space, my first thought is, this person tripping. Because I've been gone for 3 days. So how much space do you need? Like, why are we together then? You know, these are the things that would go through my mind. Like, if I had been gone for 2 days, and let's say I was gone Monday and Tuesday. I told you I needed some space. I was gone for Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, I pop back up, and then you say, oh, well, I need some space now. I'm going to take that as a manipulation, and I'm going to back off. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, I really do need the space. I need to regenerate. And you feel like you're being emotionally manipulative. That feels like a manipulation to me. To most Aquarius, we read that as being kind of weird, you know? But if the person, let's say I took 2 days and like a month later, you said something's going on and you need some space. I wouldn't think that is weird. Because time has passed and I know I need space. So I would think that's pretty much okay. You know, let me know when you know, when you want me to call you, you know, let me know when you're back in town or whatever the case is. So it would matter on that. It would matter how close the proximity was. And I would be definitely questioning that. Like, and then if we both need space all the time, why are we together? That was my second question. Like, to me, that feels like a relationship that's not working. If I keep needing space as an Aquarius, something about you is not working for me. Because as an Aquarius, when I'm into a person, I don't need space from them. I need space from them maybe sometimes, like, you know, if I'm going through a hard time at work or something like that, but it's not common. Aquarius who are in relationships where they're in love with somebody, they don't mind them being around all the time. They might not even need space. They don't even mind them being clingy. I've been in relationships with clingy people that I liked. I didn't mind the cling when I was liking them. I minded the cling when I wanted to get away. So it really makes me wonder, in a case like this, what's really going on here? So that's my thought process if I was this Aquarius. All right, guys, it's time to get going. Come back soon because I got a lot more to say. See you later.